Welcome, fellow knowledge seekers, to an exhilarating journey through the annals of scientific exploration. Prepare to have your minds boggled as we delve into the top 20 experiments that have reshaped our understanding of the universe and our place within it. From the smallest particles to the vast expanse of the cosmos, human curiosity knows no bounds. Throughout history, brilliant minds have dared to challenge conventional wisdom, to push the boundaries of knowledge through meticulous observation and audacious experimentation. These pioneers of science have left an indelible mark on our civilization, their groundbreaking discoveries paving the way for countless technological advancements and shaping the world we live in today. So fasten your intellectual seatbelts and get ready for a cosmic roller coaster ride as we explore the experiments that changed history forever. Our first stop takes us to the orchard of Woolsthorpe Manor in England, where a young Isaac Newton, observing the simple act of an apple falling from a tree, had an epiphany that would revolutionize our understanding of the universe. Now you might be thinking, an apple, that's it? But my friends, sometimes the most profound discoveries stem from the most commonplace observations. Newton didn't just see an apple falling, he saw a force at work, a force that extended beyond the apple tree, a force that governed the motion of the moon and the planets. This, my friends, was the force of gravity. Newton's law of universal gravitation, mathematically describing this force, became a cornerstone of classical physics, explaining why objects fall to the ground, why planets orbit stars, and why the tides ebb and flow. Newton's apple didn't just fall to the ground, it fell into the very fabric of our understanding of the cosmos, forever changing our perception of the universe and our place within it. Prepare to enter the mind-boggling realm of quantum mechanics, where the very nature of reality is called into question. This is the story of the double-slit experiment, an experiment so profound, so baffling, that it continues to challenge our understanding of the universe. Imagine shining a beam of light through two narrow slits. You'd expect to see two bright lines on the screen behind, right? Well, that's not what happens. Instead, we see an interference pattern, a series of light and dark bands, as if the light waves are interfering with each other. But here's where it gets really strange. When we send single particles of light, photons, through the slits one at a time, we still observe the interference pattern. It's as if each photon is somehow interfering with itself, passing through both slits simultaneously. This, my friends, is the wave-particle duality of light, a fundamental concept in quantum mechanics. Light, and indeed all matter, can behave as both a wave and a particle, defying our classical intuitions about the nature of reality. In science, sometimes it's the experiments that fail that teach us the most. Take the Michelson-Morley experiment. They built an interferometer to detect luminiferous ether, but guess what? No interference pattern, nothing. This failure paved the way for Einstein's theory of special relativity. Sometimes profound discoveries come from experiments that challenge our beliefs. We humans have always been obsessed with measuring things. But how do you weigh something as massive as our planet? Henry Cavendish figured it out in the late 18th century. Using a torsion balance, he measured gravitational force. This allowed him to determine Earth's density. Cavendish's work verified Newton's law of gravitation. It laid the groundwork for future scientific discoveries. The origins of life, a question captivating humanity for millennia. In 1952, Stanley Miller and Harold Urey recreated early Earth conditions. They found amino acids, life's building blocks. The Miller-Urey experiment remains a landmark achievement. It opened prebiotic chemistry, inspiring scientists today. Have you ever wondered what makes up matter? I mean, if you take, say, a gold bar and keep cutting it in half, how small can you go? It's a question that puzzled thinkers for millennia, but the answer, my friends, is a wild one. See, back in 1909, Ernest Rutherford, a physicist with a knack for smashing things together, designed an experiment that would change our view of the atom forever. He aimed a beam of alpha particles, which are basically tiny, positively charged projectiles, at a thin sheet of gold foil. Now, the prevailing theory at the time was that atoms were like plum puddings, with negatively charged electrons scattered throughout a positively charged blob. If that were true, The alpha particles should have passed straight through the gold foil with only minor deflections. But that's not what Rutherford found. Some of the alpha particles bounced back, almost as if they had hit something incredibly dense and positively charged. This was a monumental discovery, leading to the revelation that atoms have a tiny, dense nucleus at their core, orbited by electrons. Let's raise a glass, or rather a bottle, to Louis Pasteur, a man who truly revolutionized the way we eat and drink, and saved countless lives in the process. You see, before Pasteur came along, people didn't really understand why food spoiled. Some even believed in spontaneous generation, the idea that life could arise from non-living matter. Pasteur, however, suspected that tiny organisms, too small to see with the naked eye, were the culprits. To prove his point, he conducted an elegant experiment using flasks with swan neck openings. These flasks allowed air in, but prevented dust and microbes from directly entering the broth inside. He boiled the broth in both regular and swan neck flasks, killing any existing microbes. The broth in the regular flasks spoiled quickly, while the broth in the swan neck flasks remained clear. Why? Because the microbes in the air couldn't navigate the curves of the swan neck. This seemingly simple experiment had profound implications. It not only disproved spontaneous generation but also led to the process of pasteurization, which we use today to kill harmful bacteria in milk, juice, and countless other products. Talk about a major win for food safety and public health. We all know that DNA is the blueprint of life, right? But how did we figure that out? Enter Alfred Hershey and Martha Chase, two scientists who used, of all things, viruses to unlock this genetic secret. See, viruses are essentially tiny packages of genetic material that infect cells and hijack their machinery to make more viruses. Hershey and Chase used a type of virus called a bacteriophage, which infects bacteria. They wanted to know what part of the virus, the protein coat or the DNA inside, was responsible for this cellular takeover. They cleverly labeled the protein coat of some viruses with radioactive sulfur, and the DNA of other viruses with radioactive phosphorus. Then they let the viruses infect bacteria, and used a blender to separate the viral ghost from the infected bacteria. What did they find? The radioactive phosphorus, indicating DNA, was found inside the bacteria, while the radioactive sulfur, indicating protein, remained outside. This elegant experiment definitively proved that DNA, not protein, is the carrier of genetic information. It's like discovering the language of life itself. Friends, we've all heard the expression Pavlov's dog. Ring a bell? Well, it turns out there's some serious science behind it. We're talking about the legendary Ivan Pavlov, a Russian physiologist who stumbled upon a fundamental principle of learning. You see, Pavlov was initially interested in digestion, studying the salivation reflex in dogs. But then he noticed something curious. The dogs started salivating, they even got the food. Just the sight of the lab assistant who brought the food was enough to get those canine mouths watering. Pavlov, ever the scientist, realized this was no mere anecdote but a profound observation. He designed a series of experiments, pairing the food with a neutral stimulus, like the sound of a bell. Sure enough, after repeated pairings, the dogs began to salivate in response to the bell alone. This, my friends, is classical conditioning. Pavlov's work was groundbreaking, demonstrating that behaviors could be learned through association. This wasn't just about drooling dogs anymore, it had huge implications for understanding learning in all animals, including us. Now let's dive into the world of social psychology, where things can get a little unsettling. We're talking about the Stanford prison experiment conducted in 1971. Picture this. A group of college students, perfectly ordinary, randomly assigned to be either guards or prisoners in a simulated prison environment. The researchers, led by Philip Zimbardo, wanted to understand the psychological effects of power dynamics and social roles. What they found was shocking. The study, planned for 2 weeks, had to be shut down after just 6 days. Why? Things got real, and I mean really real, really fast. The guards, given uniforms and symbols of authority, became increasingly authoritarian and abusive. The prisoners, stripped of their identities and subjected to dehumanizing treatment, became passive and withdrawn. Remember, these were just regular students a few days earlier. The Stanford prison experiment stands as a chilling reminder of the power of the situation. It showed how easily people can conform to social roles, even when those roles clash with their personal values. It's a stark warning about the dangers of unchecked authority and the importance of individual responsibility. Ever feel pressured to go along with the crowd, even when you know something isn't right? Well, you're not alone. The ash conformity experiments conducted in the 1950s shed light on this very human tendency. Imagine yourself in a room with a group of people. You're shown a simple visual task, matching the length of a line to one of 3 other lines. Seems easy, right? But here's the catch. Everyone else in the room, secretly in on the experiment, starts giving the wrong answer. What would you do? Well, Solomon Asch found that a surprising number of people conformed to the group's incorrect answer, even when it was blatantly obvious that the group was wrong. These experiments revealed the powerful influence of social pressure on our judgments and decision-making. Think about it. We're social creatures, hardwired to seek belonging and avoid standing out. But the Asch experiments remind us that conformity comes at a cost. It's a balancing act, navigating our own independent thinking with the social forces that shape our perceptions and behaviors. Sometimes the truth isn't a popularity contest, and we have to be willing to stand alone, even if it means going against the grain. We humans, we have this innate desire to understand our place in the grand cosmic tapestry. For centuries we believed the universe was static, unchanging. But Edwin Hubble, through meticulous observations at the Mount Wilson Observatory, shattered that notion in a way that redefined our entire understanding of the cosmos. Hubble was observing distant galaxies, those swirling islands of stars scattered across the vastness of space. Using a technique to measure their distances, he noticed something astonishing. The light coming from these galaxies was stretched, shifted towards the red end of the spectrum. This redshift, he realized, was not random. It was directly proportional to the galaxy's distance from us. This was a revolutionary discovery. Imagine a balloon with dots drawn all over it. As you inflate the balloon, every dot moves further away from every other dot. That's what's happening in our universe. Hubble's observations implied that the universe was expanding, with galaxies rushing away from each other like runners in a cosmic marathon. This groundbreaking discovery, now known as Hubble's law, completely revolutionized cosmology. It provided the first concrete evidence for an expanding universe, a concept that forms the cornerstone of the Big Bang theory. From a static, unchanging cosmos, we were suddenly confronted with a universe teeming with motion, a universe with a beginning and perhaps an end. Sometimes the greatest discoveries happen when you least expect them. Such was the case with Alexander Fleming and his accidental encounter with one of the most important medical breakthroughs in human history, penicillin. Now picture this. It's 1928, and Fleming, a brilliant but notoriously messy scientist, returns to his lab after a summer vacation. He finds that a petri dish containing Staphylococcus bacteria has been left open, and it's contaminated with a peculiar mold. Now, any other day, this would have been tossed in the bin. But Fleming, with his keen eye, noticed something extraordinary. The area around the mold was clear, devoid of the bacteria that should have been thriving there. The mold, it turned out, was producing a substance that was lethal to the bacteria penicillin. This accidental discovery would revolutionize medicine, ushering in the era of antibiotics. Suddenly, infections that were once death sentences like pneumonia, syphilis, and many more became treatable. The impact of penicillin on human health cannot be overstated. It has saved countless lives and transformed the way we approach medicine. But it also highlights the importance of observation, curiosity, and yes, even a little bit of luck in the process of scientific discovery. Sometimes, the universe reveals its secrets in the most unexpected ways. For millennia, humans looked to the skies, yearning to soar among the birds. The dream of flight remained just that, a dream. But in Kitty Hawk, 2 brothers, Wilbur and Orville Wright, dared to challenge the impossible. They meticulously tested wing designs and developed a revolutionary control system. On a chilly December morning in 1903, the Wright flyer took to the skies. For 12 seconds it soared, marking the first powered flight in history. The Wright brothers' achievement ignited the age of aviation. Their legacy lives on in every soaring airplane, a testament to human ingenuity. The year is 1939. Europe descends into war. In labs, a race against time unfolds. The Manhattan Project, shrouded in secrecy, aims to unlock atomic energy. Bright minds converge in secret US labs. Their mission? Harness the atom's energy. The science is mind-boggling. Einstein's E equals mc squared reveals mass as energy. The project is a monumental engineering feat. Reactors enrich uranium for a nuclear chain reaction, understanding the atom's forces with precision, all under intense pressure. In July 1945, the atomic age begins. The Trinity test shakes the New Mexico desert. The world is forever changed. We ponder the profound implications and ethical dilemmas. Friends, we are defined by our genes, these microscopic strands of DNA that carry the instructions for building and operating a human being. In 1990, the Human Genome Project began, aiming to read the entire genetic blueprint. It was a global effort, with researchers from around the world collaborating. The project was declared complete in 2003, revolutionizing medicine and genetics. Deep beneath the border of Switzerland and France lies the Large Hadron Collider, or LHC. This is not just another particle accelerator, it's a time machine to the universe's earliest moments. By smashing protons together, the LHC recreates conditions after the Big Bang. Energy so high, collisions so violent, they produce particles never seen before. Detectors capture the debris, recording traces of particles from the universe's infancy. The LHC's data requires a global network of computers to process it. It's about piecing together the fundamental building blocks of our universe. The discoveries at the LHC have profound implications for our understanding of the universe. It's a testament to human curiosity and our relentless pursuit of knowledge. Who knows what other secrets the universe will reveal to us? Friends, have you ever imagined a world where we could precisely edit the blueprints of life itself? Well, with the advent of CRISPR-Cas9, that world is no longer a figment of science fiction, but rather a scientific frontier we are actively exploring. CRISPR-Cas9, in its essence, is a revolutionary gene editing tool that allows scientists to make targeted changes to the DNA sequences of organisms, including, yes, even us humans. Imagine a pair of molecular scissors, guided by a GPS system that can pinpoint a specific gene amongst billions of others within the vast landscape of DNA. That, my friends, is the power of CRISPR-Cas9. The implications of this technology are staggering. We are talking about the potential to cure genetic diseases, develop new disease-resistant crops, and even rewrite the very code of life as we know it. Now, I know what you're thinking. With great power comes great responsibility, and you are absolutely right. The ethical considerations surrounding CRISPR-Cas9 are as immense as its potential benefits. But one thing is for sure, the CRISPR-Cas9 revolution is here, and it's poised to fundamentally alter the landscape of medicine, agriculture, and perhaps the future of our very species. It's a brave new world out there, one where the once impenetrable secrets of the genome are being unlocked, one DNA base pair at a time. We've all seen the iconic image of Neil Armstrong's boots sinking into the lunar dust, but the Apollo missions were much more than just a race to the moon. They were a triumph of human ingenuity and a scientific goldmine. Think about it. We sent 12 humans to another world, a world with no atmosphere, with weaker gravity, and bombarded by cosmic rays. It was a completely alien environment, and yet, they not only survived, they conducted groundbreaking experiments. They set up seismometers to study the moon's internal structure, measured the distance between the Earth and the moon with incredible precision using lasers, and even brought back lunar samples that are still being studied today. These experiments weren't just about the moon, they were about understanding the universe and our place in it, just a little bit better. Nikola Tesla, the eccentric genius of electricity. When you hear his name, you probably think of the Tesla coil, spitting out bolts of lightning, making music with electricity. But Tesla's vision went far beyond parlor tricks. He dreamt of a world wirelessly connected, where energy could be transmitted through the air. His Tesla coil experiments were the foundation for that dream. He showed that we could transmit power without wires, a concept that even today, we're still striving to perfect. Tesla's work laid the groundwork for many technologies we take for granted today, from radio communication to wireless charging. He was a true visionary, a man ahead of his time, pushing the boundaries of what was possible with electricity. From the apple that fell from a tree to the gene-editing tools of the future, we've journeyed through time, exploring the experiments that reshaped our understanding of the universe and ourselves. But remember, the quest for knowledge never ends. Every answer unlocks a dozen new questions, fueling our curiosity and driving us forward. So tell me, which of these groundbreaking experiments blew your mind the most? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next cosmic adventure. Until then, keep looking up, keep questioning, and never stop exploring the universe around us.